What is going on, YouTube? I am Lamont at Large, and today I am at the Indian Springs Cemetery here in Punta Gorda, Florida. This is Donald Wayne Blair, December 3rd, 1966 to July 1st, 1986. So Donald was driving his Jeep on that night, July 1st, 1986. He was with two of his friends. In the passenger seat was Robert Van Buskirk, and they had a friend in the back, Joseph Carney. And according to Florida State Troopers, Donald, his left tire hit a guardrail. All three individuals that were riding in the Jeep were ejected. By the time paramedics arrived on the scene, Donald was already dead. They got his friend, Robert. He was unconscious. They took him to the hospital and they hooked him up to a ventilator, and he was on life support until his family had to finally pull the plug. He was brain dead. However, they did donate his organs so that other people might live. The third individual in the back, I guess you can call it miraculous, but he only suffered minor injuries. And it appeared that the Florida State Trooper said that nobody was wearing their seatbelts. I don't know if it was one of those Jeeps where everything is opened, but just very, very sad. This is Javon Kamen, October 13th, 1981 to February 26, 2007. And as you can see, there's a football and a football helmet. Javon was a semi-professional football player. He played for the WIFL, or the World Indoor Football League. He was a defensive back for the Daytona Beach Thunder, and they had a game that evening against the Columbus Lions. When Javon went to make a tackle, he fell and wasn't moving. The paramedics working the game came on the field, started performing CPR on him. They rushed him to the hospital, but he died on the way of a cardiac arrest. And later, during an autopsy, it was determined that Javon had suffered a broken neck while going in for that tackle. His mother, in an article, said that he died what he loved doing, and that's playing football. And I'm sure this man had dreams of trying to make it big in the NFL, like a lot of people who play semi-professional sports. It's always a dream, you know what I mean, to just make a living playing a game and doing something that you love to do at the end of the day. So rest in peace to this young man, gone way too soon. This is the grave of Jawan Platt, December 26, 1977 to July 1st, 2004. So on that night of July 1st, 2004, Jawan was here in Punta Gorda arguing with his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his child. And there's a few people around, heard the arguing. They also heard his ex-girlfriend at the time, Kamisha Hill, threaten him, saying that she wanted him dead. I hope you go to prison and rot for the rest of your life. There is some domestic violence in that case, somewhat of a turbulent relationship. And 2 hours after that verbal altercation, he was shot and killed. It was the first murder here in Punta Gorda at that time in 10 years. Now, originally, 5 people were arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Amongst them, a man by the name of Leatrick Reed, who was the alleged trigger man in this shooting, as well as Kamisha Hill's sister, and a man by the last name of Edmondson. So 5 people were charged with the second-degree murder, and However, the charges were later reduced to Kamisha and her sister and Edmund's charge. It was reduced to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which that charge carries the max 5 years in prison. And considering how long ago it happened, they're already out of prison. So the trigger man, who was still charged with the second-degree murder, he ended up only doing, according to court records, 3 years in prison. So either the prosecution felt that this shooting, they didn't have a very strong case in this, and maybe the defense had an argument that this was self-defense. I mean, who knows at the end of the day? But if you shoot and kill somebody, you only get 3 years in prison. I'm going to go ahead and just take a wild guess that the defense is like, you know what, this was self-defense. My client is not going to do any prison time. He's going to get off scot-free. And the prosecution is looking to just kind of get any conviction they can because they know they have a weak case, just looking at the paperwork on everything. And that's pretty much what happened. And this is his brother next to him, Jobri Jerome Platt. He was shot and killed September 4th, 2012. Yeah, very sad. Two brothers, victims to gun violence. Must be, to be a mom and a dad and lose both of your sons in such tragic fashions. It's pretty rare that I see brothers shot and killed buried together. I noticed his family grave right here. Victor, Nicholas, and Roman Michael Slipachuk. Roman was 19 years old at the time of his death, and Victor was 17. Victor was a high school student at Charlotte High. Roman Michael, he went to a Navy nuclear school in Orlando, and he was set to head to California to complete his training. And on the night of February 10th, 1990, they were on the highway and they got into an accident with an oncoming car. And Victor died at the scene, and Roman was taken to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries 2 days later. And of course, her mother right there, she passed in June 17th of 2004. Got 3 people that died pretty young. Shane Kelly Brunel, September 21st, 1996 to June 19th, 2017. On that day, June 19th, 2017, Shane had gotten into an argument with his father, Jonathan Brunel, and his father pulled out a gun and shot and killed his own son. And this guy that killed his son, he's had previous arrests for violence, a DUI. I don't know how a man can shoot his own flesh and blood son, especially they look exactly alike. They look like twins. And you can only imagine what was going through his mind. He's looking at his son and he sees him when he was his age. Crazy. He was arrested and he pled guilty to his murder and he got a life sentence. So now he sits in prison, and every day he wakes up, he sees his gray prison walls around him, and every day he'll remember why he's there. And every day when he looks into a mirror, he's gonna see his son. They look spitting image just like each other. By the way, I refilled your bird feeder. I cannot walk past a bird feeder without refilling it. Because if I don't do it, who else will? But rest in peace to this young man. Major Terry Branscombe, 54, of Punta Gorda, Florida, died November 21st, 2007, at his home after a lengthy battle with pancreatic cancer. He was born December 17th, 1952, in West Union, Ohio, to Hugh and Norma Branscombe. Terry was retired from the Southwest Florida Criminal Justice Academy, where he was a firearms instructor. He was currently a major with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office in charge of professional standards and training. He was a member of the local FOP Lodge number 66 and former vice president. He enjoyed shooting old cars and family time. Terry will be remembered as a loving husband, father, son, and friend. He taught others how to pay it forward and expected nothing in return. He is survived by his wife of 29 years, Gail, his children, Sonia Tyson of Punta Gorda, Jennifer Daniel Becky of the North Pole, Alaska, Michael Branscombe and Katrina Branscombe, both of Punta Gorda, and his grandson, Justin Tyson. Vasily Losko, January 13, 1985 to June 11, 2003. Vasily was born in the Ukraine and immigrated as a child to the United States. He was going to Charlotte High School at the time of his death, and he also had a job. I know nowadays that's not a thing that really happens. A kid goes to school and he works, but me guessing his parents being from the Ukraine probably set in some values in him that, you know, you go to school, but you also need to work. You need to build your job portfolio or what have you. And it said online he was a telemarketer for a newspaper out here. And at first I thought to myself, what an odd job for a kid to do. You know what I mean? 18-year-old kid and you're a telemarketer for a newspaper. So he was probably cold calling people, selling newspaper subscriptions, or possibly he was selling advertising for the newspaper. But then again, I was thinking to myself, what better job to have as a kid than a job where, you know, you hear 99 no's, but you hear one yes, and that builds resilience in your life. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we live in a culture where you're not going to always get a trophy, even though it seems like the Twilight Zone where we live in that culture where everybody gets a trophy for just participating. I mean, he lived it back in those days, which wasn't too long ago. Yeah, you didn't get a trophy just because you played. No, you had to work. You had to work at it. You had to be good. And if you lost, you don't get a trophy if you lose. And what better way to build your iron plate in life than to be a telemarketer? And when I read that, a flood of emotions came to me that, wow, this kid had an absolute future. He could have been a car salesman, or he could have been a manager of a bank or whatever. Because when he was young and he was a telemarketer, he was already used to hearing no's, and he wouldn't even care, probably roll off his back. I wish he wasn't here. I would have loved to have known if he were alive today what he would be doing for a living. And I don't know how he passed. But I guess just the random things that pop into my head when I see different graves of places that I go. I refilled this bird feeder and there was a hole in it. So I put my sticker for my other channel to kind of seal it up a little bit. And I guess I took this wasp home. It's trying to get in, but hey buddy, you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go, because now that is home to bird feed for the birds. I'm probably gonna change the name of that channel pretty soon. I'm gonna have to do something with it, but for right now I just really don't upload much on there. But the stickers really do come in handy at certain times. Okay, another video in the books. Alive but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am Lamont at Large at the Indian Springs Cemetery here in Punta Gorda, Florida on this beautiful day. Overcast, yet the sun wasn't burning down on the back of my neck. Thankfully, I'll catch up with you on the next vlog. Peace out.